Elian Thorne drives down a dirt path in his car, searching for the forgotten village of Blackridge Hollow.
Elian arrives at the abandoned village and finds only a handful of collapsing wooden houses, empty and dark like sightless eyes.
The silence is complete, and even the engine's ticking sounds intrusive, making Elian feel unease in his chest. Elian tries to shake off the feeling by telling himself it's just the thrill of exploration, but his hands are trembling slightly as he lifts his camera.
Elian takes photographs of the village square, including the dry stone well with a rusted iron chain and warped planks.
As he circles the well, he notices the chain swaying, though the air has gone still, and the links shift against each other with a faint metallic murmur.
Elian leans closer and catches a smell rising from the cracks between the boards. Elian quickly replaces the board and steps back, laughing under his breath in a strained attempt to shake off the feeling. As he turns toward the nearest house, he finds himself glancing repeatedly over his shoulder, expecting the boards to shift again on their own.
Inside the house, Elian notices the air is stale and unnaturally cold, with floorboards.
Elian tries to focus on practical details, but the broken furniture and rusted stove seem subtly wrong.
Elian reaches the upper hallway and finds several doors standing half open, revealing small, empty rooms with windows facing the forest. In the last room, Elian finds a narrow bed frame still holding a sagging mattress, stained with irregular dark patches. The static briefly resolves into what looks like a human face stretched into an impossible expression before vanishing again.
Elian lowers the camera slowly, feeling a tightening in his throat as the temperature drops further.
He hears the sound of movement beneath the bed, a slow, dragging motion like fabric pulled across wood.
Elian remains frozen for several seconds, unable to decide whether the greater terror lies in looking or in refusing to look. He finally crouches and lifts the hanging edge of the mattress just enough to reveal only darkness deeper than the shadows around it.
The dragging sound continues as if something were moving away from him into a distance that should not have existed within the narrow space.
Panic finally overcomes curiosity, and Elian hurries back down the stairs and out into the fading daylight. As he crosses the square toward his car, he notices that the chain on the well has stilled, but the boards now lie slightly askew. He glances toward the nearest house and thinks he sees a shape withdraw from one of the windows, too tall and thin. Elian forces himself not to run, though his breathing comes in shallow bursts until he reaches the car and slams the door behind him. He locks the door immediately, despite the absurdity of such protection in a place like this. The engine hesitates before starting with a reluctant shudder that makes Elian imagine unseen resistance beneath the hood.
At last, the engine catches, and Elian begins to reverse along the narrow path, keeping his eyes fixed on the rearview mirror.
The village recedes slowly into shadow except for the well, which remains visible longer than seems possible. Elian becomes aware of a new sound within the car, a faint, irregular tapping from somewhere behind him. He first attributes the tapping to loose equipment, but the pattern persists for several miles. The tapping ceases abruptly as the forest thins and the road broadens into cracked pavement.
Elian drives the rest of the way home in a state of strained vigilance, jumping at every minor noise.
He finally reaches his apartment building, where the familiar surroundings bring a measure of relief that seems almost convincing.
Yet the smell of rot lingers faintly in the air, and Elian has an unsettling feeling that something has entered ahead of him. Elian wakes to the sound of faint metallic movement from the direction of the closet, a slow, dragging clink that makes his pulse race.
He lies rigid beneath the covers, listening while the noise continues in uneven intervals like a chain being drawn across wood. Finally, Elian rises and switches on the light, revealing nothing unusual except for a thin line of dark moisture seeping from beneath the closet door. When he opens the closet door, the smell that rushes out is unmistakably the same as the well's damp decay. Elian notices a faint impression of something heavy pressed into the carpet, as though an unseen weight rested there.
He flees the apartment before sunrise, leaving most of his belongings behind.
Sometimes, when he catches his reflection in a window at night, Elian thinks he sees another shape standing just behind him, elongated and indistinct.
He becomes obsessed with the idea that the presence in Blackridge Hollow has followed him, watching him from the shadows.
Elian starts to experience vivid dreams and visions, as if the darkness is seeping into his waking life.
He becomes convinced that the presence is trying to communicate with him, to draw him back into the heart of Blackridge Hollow.
Elian's friends and family begin to notice a change in him. A growing obsession with the abandoned village.
Elian, please listen to us.
You're scaring me. This isn't you. You have to stop before it's too late.
As the days pass, Elian's behavior becomes more and more erratic, as if he is being pulled apart by some unseen force.
His loved ones try to reach out to him, but Elian is too deep in the darkness to hear their calls.
He becomes isolated, alone in his apartment as the shadows grow longer and darker. Elian's grip on reality begins to slip, as if the presence in Blackridge Hollow is pulling him down into the abyss. He starts to experience strange visions, as if he is seeing the world through the eyes of the presence. He packs a small bag and sets out into the night, driven by a morbid curiosity and a sense of destiny. As he drives, the landscape blurs together, a monotony of trees and hills that seems to stretch on forever. Elian's mind is consumed by visions of the abandoned village, the presence watching him from the shadows.
He becomes lost in thought, his eyes fixed on some point in the distance as if drawn by an unseen force.
The hours pass, and Elian's car rumbles on, a small speck of metal and flesh in the vast expanse of the night.
He feels a growing sense of unease, as if he is being pulled towards some unknown destination.
Elian's eyes snap back into focus, and he sees the outline of Blackridge Hollow in the distance. He slows the car to a stop, his heart pounding in his chest as he gazes out at the abandoned village. As he steps out of his car, the darkness seems to swallow him whole, like an abyss waiting to consume him.